So entrepreneurship by its definition is something which is coming from within. So whenever you are going into any organization, there will be a lot of opportunities for growth, whether on the market side or improvement of internal processes, plugging leaks and all, which are overlooked. They are pushed under the carpet because people are busy in the routine activities. Their complete energy is drained. But within that, there would be some employees, some passionate employees who would be identifying these gaps and without a mandate oftentimes try to solve these problems more as a passion than a profession. Okay. And these passion projects, then if they see the initial success, they get mentors, they get support, and they scale up into full-fledged programs. And then these programs oftentimes are helping both in the top line, bottom line, operations, so many other aspect functions of a company, which generally can be defined as entrepreneurship. If you compare with entrepreneurship, entrepreneurship is completely external driven. So that means an entrepreneur is always looking at the market. He is trying to solve market problems. He is trying to get business out from the market. And then he is also having to depend on the market for finance, for support, for everything. So one of the biggest differentiators between enterprise and an enterprise is that an enterprise is, while being fully dependent on the market, having the flexibility of choosing the process, choosing the agility at which they can operate and stuff like that, whereas an entrepreneur has to operate within the perimeters of the company, within the set rules, get the budgets allocated year on year and get the things going. So this is the biggest difference, looking out of the organization and solving a problem in the market against looking from within and solving a problem of an enterprise. That is what the entrepreneur do. See, when you are talking about a startup, as I mentioned in the previous question, the startup is looking at an external problem. They are trying to solve it and they are trying to solve it quickly. Now, if the solution is not happening or the ROI is not coming or the business numbers are not being met, at the best the company will close down. And when the company closes down, it's the end of the road for the company for sure, but not necessarily for the individuals, because for the individuals, including the investors, it can be a learning curve which they can further leverage going forward. But when it comes to the entrepreneurs, they don't have this cushioning of failure. So in an entrepreneur situation, they have the job security to begin with, but money is very difficult to come by, because if you are creating a process, if you are starting an internal program, you have to convince multiple layers of the hierarchy of the company to come to a conclusion that yes, this can be invested in for people, process and money. So that is the biggest difference, and the cost of failure is very high for an entrepreneur, because if an entrepreneur fails, his career goes derailed. Now for any individual, any executive, there is a career path, and that career path has milestones. So if you miss a milestone, if you get derailed, to get it back onto rail is very, very difficult. So the cost of failure from that point of view of entrepreneurship is minuscule for the enterprise where it is happening, but may be amplified and magnified many times for the entrepreneur herself or himself. So that is one big difference. Definitely, there are many, but I will just limit to 3 for the brevity of time. Let's say about 12, 13 years back, we had already gathered a lot of operational knowledge on various products, various systems, various installations, and some of the engineers, they opined that we could offer remote services to our global installed base from India. It was a very, very cautious beginning, and there was a lot of I would say not mistrust but concerns all over the world about data security, this, that, other things. We started with just a handful of products and a couple of plants. Today we are able to, we are actually serving more than 10,000 equipment from the center, which includes almost 9,000 robos, more than 200 cement plants all across the world, and so many other products. So this was a scaling up over a period of a decade, which was unheard of, and now this is a part of a standard offering for those business lines. The other one was around 2006. India was declared as a sub-region those days. Now the structure has changed, and a lot of countries were allocated to India for management and developing new organizations to meet with the compliance regulations. So we set up organizations in Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Mauritius, Madagascar, and then we found that the level of competence that is required for somebody to run the operations, the functions, meeting the requirements of compliance of a Swiss company which was having a certain flavor of the New York Stock Exchange also, it was not possible to find. They didn't understand the concept also. So then we shifted everything at a very, very nascent stage to Bangalore. We created a hub in Bangalore managing all the functions, HR, finance, banking, so many things. It clicked. And now that is something which basically, of course, GBS was there as a concept, but within ABB that was the beginning, which now has flowered into a full-fledged GBS. Thirdly, very recently, that's the most recent thing, in the software world there is something called customer experience and design thinking, and there is something called a experience room. We are a core engineering company, 150 years old, so for us such things were not there. What we had were various displays of cut pieces of various machines and all, but nobody could get a complete overview. So we started a program, and there we brought in the concept of experience centers, customer experiences, design thinking, identifying problems. Now that has also really taken off, and we now have a fantastic experience center in our center in Bangalore, and that is a benchmark for the company. So everybody is trying to replicate that across the globe.